Okay, hey, want a spell that can make a weapon magic but isn't magic weapon? Or in other such spells that do similar things, there's a good handful. We have Elemental Weapon. Third level Transmutation, casting time of 1 action, range of touch, components verbal somatic, duration concentration up to 1 hour. Non-magical weapon you touch becomes a magic weapon. Choose one of the following damage types: acid, cold, fire, lightning, or thunder. For the duration, the weapon has a +1 bonus to attack rolls and deals an extra 1d4 damage of the chosen type when it hits. At higher levels, when casting the spell using a spell slot of 5th level or 6th level, the bonus to attack rolls increases by +2, and the extra damage increases to 2d4. When you use a spell slot of 7th level or higher, the bonus increases to +3, and the extra damage increases to 3d4. This one's not going to be worth the spell slot. So, Elemental Weapon. We have something that Divine Favor does better. Or at least in the level exchange. Third level for +1 magic weapon that does 1d4 of one of the chosen damage types. If you're going against something with vulnerability or trying to overcome some kind of resistance, not bad. Might need a magic item to pinch. The concentration for an hour for only a d4 and +1 on a melee weapon. No! There are better just instantaneous spells to... Okay, let's say a horde of creatures. You can either use this... If you're a spellcaster, predominantly, you're not classically good at melee, or ranged, or martial attacks. So you're not going to be casting this on yourself with your own weapon. I mean, you could, but likely not the situation you're coming up to, nor in setting. But then you have casting this on an ally, which, fair, giving them a magic weapon to overcome resistance against a single grand target. Alright, but you have 3rd level spells. There's instantaneous spells that do more damage than this spell would within a minute, 10 minutes? Maybe not 10 minutes. But you're getting what I mean. Why buff this one item on a weapon when you yourself could just use your own spell slot to stomp or kill the thing directly? If you're going for a theme and it also has one particular vulnerability that you don't have a spell appropriate for, because, hey, having a spell that can change damage... Oh no, Chromatic Orb already covers that! A spell that changes damage types that just you keep in your selection as an option for whenever an issue like that comes up when it comes to resistances. And it's not bound to a weapon, and it already does more damage than a d4, and ranged uses your spell attack, and is 1st level that can then be upcasted to 3rd level, doing more than this. And that's not even the most efficient option yet. You still have other damage spells amongst 2nd and 3rd as well. There's also the issue of the fact it holds concentration. There's other concentration spells that do more damage in 1 round, and then over the course of those concentrated rounds, than this would at maximum efficiency. This should be a 1st level spell. This should be a 1st level spell. It just should. It should be a 1st level. 1st or 2nd? 2nd's already pushing it. The fact it's 3rd, again, similar to some spells previously, that's an insult. What, you're already around 5th level in your game? You're likely starting to stumble upon magic items, if not already have some already. So the +1 magic item at that point. And the issue is the upcasting. It's touch. You have to be right next to the person casting melee or your own weapon. I'm sorry if I'm getting very heated. Just did the Eldritch Blast recording. And for this to follow it up, I forgot the exact details of this spell and reading through it. Oh man, not happy. Why the 2-level jumps on upcasting? It's already not worth it. I can get worrying about giving a +3 magic item, but the fact that the spellcaster then has to hold concentration on it. Like, alright, fair. The maximum upcast version of this, of 3d4 of a damage type you get to choose, and a +3 weapon for an hour, pretty decent. The fact you have to hold concentration on it, and you're already to the point of casting a 7th level spell, you have better options. A good chunk of this year of better options. Bloody wizards and melee magic items. Monopoly. 3 or 4, +1, 1d4. 5 and 6, +2, 2d4. Alright, not worth it at that level. 4th level, I could see doing 2-level jump if you started at 2nd. That I could see being alright. Still not the best. Because the main issue I have when it comes to the balance of this is like, well, over the course of an hour, yeah, you can add up a ton of damage with the +2 and 2d4 and +3 and 3d4. That is a bit more worth it. Not at the levels it's at, And the thing is, because it's concentration, there are so many... Alright. I've had a player, and players, I should put in plural, that have run into the issue of setting up spellcasters with so many concentration spells that they couldn't actually use half their kit, because one spell would be majority useful in multiple situations, so some spells just wouldn't see the light of day, because they were already concentrating on something. That's the true cost of this, and that is the true reason it's not worth it. Yes, the spell slot's already a slight insult to it, but that's okay. That's why I can still see an argument for the spell slots it's being cast at. But the fact concentration is also a part of it. Already the exchange of casting a 3rd level or any of those levels just straight damage spell against a target, or save or suck, or disabling, or debuff, or a different kind of buff that you could hold concentration on, or just be using the spell slot for instead. But no, instead you're forced to buff a single weapon to then do some d4 and a slight bonus to it. Add this with multi-attack, yes, it'd be nice. But you can already do buffs that can do similar things and likely to multiple targets at later levels. It's the fact it's concentration! And I get why it's not, that's the issue I have. I get why it's not for a lot of these. I'd say, if I was to home rule this one, cut it from 1 hour. It goes down to a minute, goes down 1 spell slot for each rank. It's the 2 that then goes to 4, that then goes to 6. Lasts 1 minute, not concentration. Nah, but I can also see that... Nah, I can also see the problem with that one as well. It's just such a tricky thing to actually balance, because when you add in multi-attack, this spell can get ludicrous. If everything hits, if you have a crit fishing fighter, if you have a rogue attached with this, it can get busted in the right hands. But it's there in just the spellcaster's hands. And even when it comes to buffing the party, there are better options for buffing the party, and there are better options for debuffing enemies, and there are better options for you yourself as the spellcaster straight spending one of those spell slots to directly hit and harm the enemy. Getting heated about spells tonight. 4 out of 10. Most of the video should say why, but if you need a bit of a reminder, the concentration, the levels as it's cast at, namely because of the other things you can cast instead. Yes, in the opportunity when it comes to multi-attack, in the right martial, with the right hands to wield whatever you're setting up, it's good. But that's such a particular scenario, and not worth concentrating on this versus something else. 4 out of 10.